What's going on, guys? It's Pauly from 771 Motorsports, and this weekend we are changing an engine on a big old hunk of garbage. And that hunk of garbage is a 2015 Kia Optima Turbo.
It's a piece of garbage, man.
So we got the car inside and we're doing a little bit of a breakdown as to, I've never personally worked on a Kia or a Hyundai or anything like this. So we are just analyzing, assessing, diagnosing the situation, figuring out whether we're going to be pulling the motor with the hoist through the top or whether we're going to be dropping through the bottom with the subframe. So this car was already here in the shop before. It was about 2 years ago. The owner came by and he told us that the dealership, the Kia dealership, diagnosed a blown engine and that he needed an engine replacement. Immediately. So they priced him out for like 8 grand, something crazy. And we diagnosed it, and what it was actually a blown and a seized turbo. So we changed the turbo, we changed the oil feed line.
Actually, the turbine was in the exhaust, in the cutout.
There you go. So seized, the whole turbine blew off. But basically, we changed the turbo and everything was good. The owner drove the car for another 2 years, and after 2 years, finally she let go. So now at this point, our diagnosis is that it's a rod bearing, definitely making some heavy knocking. Could be the piston is hitting on
Number 1.
cylinder 1 on the valves and on the head.
The guy said he just came from oil change, from quick change, like the cheap stuff, and actually, after he left, couple kilometers later, engine start knocking. So we pulled the dipstick. What do we see? The oil been never changed. It's an old oil.
Black like diesel. Look at that.
Smell with the gas too. It's an old oil.
We're getting ready to pull this motor over here, and as we are working away, we are double checking everything that we are doing with the new engine that's going to be going into the car here. So the owner picked this up from a wrecker, so you can see every bolt is marked. Every accessory has been marked, so unfortunately whoever opens the hood moving forward is going to be able to tell that this engine is from a wrecker, but has 100,000 kilometers on it. Hopefully will last the owner a couple of years. I mean, these motors aren't too good. They're notoriously known for blowing rod bearings and seizing and having turbo issues, but it should be good. It's a learning experience. Every vehicle's a little bit different. The technology is different. The accessories are different. The procedure is different between every vehicle. So normally in our Hondas, when we're racing Hondas, building Hondas, we drop the motors through the bottom because it is a lot easier. We have a nice jack stand that we use. We've got our system down pat, a couple 2x4s to support, and we're able to get the motors done, motor replaced in about 4 or 5 hours. With every vehicle, you get to develop your skill, you learn some things, some tricks, tips like that. So It's always a good thing to be working on a variety of different vehicles. It's hot in here. We're working slowly but surely, making some progress on this Kia Turbo here. We've got the harness off, starter is out, the alternator is out, the AC compressor has been removed and pulled to the side. We're getting closer to pull the motor from the top here. Whenever we remove an engine, we also like to mark it down, make a duplicate little drawing of where the bolts go, where the transmission attaches to the engine. So as you can see, the starter goes there. Got the tranny plate over here, so we've already disconnected that. Now we're just working on removing all the bolts, and we're going to put a jack underneath the transmission, hold it up. Got a little treat. The owner of that Kia came down to check out, see how we're doing, see what how the work is going, and he brought with him his beloved. Check out this beautiful Ford Mustang. This is a 2015 Ford Mustang 5-liter NA, tuned at 550 wheel horsepower, and this is a very special girl, very special lady, as this is the only Ford Mustang of its kind in Canada. 50th anniversary TDF rally, Hallman Moody. They only made 21 of these cars worldwide, only 21 available, and this is one of 21. And even cooler, this is the only car of its kind in Canada. Day one is done. We're done for the day. And guess who does not have a motor? Learning experience is challenging. We ran into some difficulties here, there, a little bit everywhere, but luckily we are stubborn and we have thick skulls. So we managed to remove the engine. Right there, look at that. Fantastic. And now we are at the point that we are going to be comparing the old engine broken one, the bad one, to the new one that's right over there. Even though it comes from the same vehicle, the same make and model, you never know, we gotta double check. Found in times, you know, they might change a sensor, wire, fuel line, some sort of bracket, and they won't tell anybody. You'll think, hey, this is a 2015, that's a 2014, this bracket is a little bit different than this bracket, and why is that like this? Does this engine have that weird piece? And how do I take this and put it onto there so that I can put it into this chassis? We just got finished going through all the different sensors, the wiring, pulleys, different features that are that could be different between the two engines. And actually we had to change over. There was one idler pulley right here that the new engine did not have. There was a vacuum line that was busted open right here that we managed to swap over, luckily. And then of course, since these engines are known for turbo issues, we had to double check on this oil feed line. So what happened with the old turbo that we replaced 2 years ago was that the driver was boosting, driving hot, not letting the car cool down, especially when coming in to work, and the feed line right here was completely caked solid of oil. The oil was not even burned, it was solidified. It had turned to sludge. So the turbo was not getting any oil whatsoever. So obviously that's why it overheated, that's why it seized, that's why the turbine literally broke in half, and we found it in the exhaust. So we had to just double check, make sure that this one was okay. We pulled it off, all Gucci, cleaned it up. And now that we've gone through all the different odds and ends, this new turbo, this new engine is ready to be installed. The new engine is installed. Let's go. That was a nice, easy install, pretty straightforward. It's funny, you know, whenever you're doing a project like this, usually the disassembly takes a little bit longer than the assembly itself because, you know, if it's your first time doing it, something like this, working on a Kia, working on a Hyundai, when you're taking it apart, you're learning as you go. You're figuring out where what goes, what brackets first, and what this and that, and sort of you're getting into the flow of things. And then when you are assembling the project, then you kind of have already a know-how of what goes where. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? We have successfully installed this new engine into this 2015 Kia Optima SX Turbo, little 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. Took us a day to remove, took us a day to install the new one. We learned a great thing or two. Everything is ready to go. Fresh spark plugs, fresh oil, fresh coolant. We've even got all of these panels installed. The intake system, airbox, all of it is installed. All of it is ready to go. We await the first test. Woo! Come on, check out that shit right there. Let's go. We had a little bit of a hiccup to get this motor started. What was happening was the fuel line, the fuel system was pressurized. We drained the fuel system and all of a sudden we had to prime it again. Being an automatic, being high technology, we had to cycle the key a couple times. Keyless go. We had to cycle the key a couple times. And now, less stuttering, actually can hold an idle. Now it sounds and runs how an engine should. The Kia is out of here. Runs and drives fantastic. What do you say?
No, yeah. It's gone. Finally, yeah. Thanks
gone.
God.
It's
Thanks
good.
God, it's gone.
Yeah. Nah, it was good.
Alright, okay.
We learned some things. We never worked on a Kia or a Hyundai before. It's basically like every other car, just, you know, it's got its own quirks and its own things. So we had a good time, 2 days, well spent, and customer drove off happy that he now has a fully functioning vehicle just as he did before. We're gonna grab some food. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking out 771 Motorsports. Peace.